In the old town where time stood still in dead silence and the breath of the past lingered in the stone streets, stood a house that evoked grim feelings even in the bravest of residents. Its tall walls of weathered stone seemed constricting, and the black windows, like eyes of a void, instilled terror. A young family consisting of husband Jason, his wife Emily, and their little daughter Lily decided to change their surroundings and start a new life in this town. When they were offered an ancient house at a very advantageous price, they couldn't resist the temptation. Ignoring the rumors of a curse that supposedly ruled over this place, the family moved into their new residence. From the first days of living in the house, strange things began to happen. During the night, vague rustles could be heard from the walls and sometimes faint moans. Doors that were locked would open by themselves, and in the corner of their eyes they could glimpse a pale face that disappeared instantly whenever someone approached. Emily started noticing that Lily often talked to an invisible friend, and every night she would wake up from nightmares describing horrible dreams about a dark figure trying to take her away. She tried to convince her husband to sell the house and leave, but Jason didn't believe in ghosts and dismissed it as stress in adjusting to a new environment. One day, when Jason was home alone, he decided to explore the basement, which locals spoke of as a place of power. In the darkness that filled the ancient stone corridors, he heard faint footsteps behind him and turned around, but there was no one there. The footsteps continued accelerating, and suddenly a ghostly figure appeared before him, an old man in dusty clothes with a contorted face and eyes full of despair and anger. "Leave this place," his voice echoed, drowning in bitter suffering. Jason recoiled, feeling a chilling touch upon him. His heart froze in fear as he realized that something sinister lurked in this house, something that couldn't leave until it exacted its vengeance. Later that evening, Emily and Lily returned home. Emily wore an expression of worry, and Lily, hugging her mother around the neck, whispered that she was scared and didn't want to live here anymore. Emily decided it was time to have a serious talk with her husband and make him understand that this house was not the place for their family. But when they entered the bedroom, Jason was gone. He had disappeared. Realizing that something was wrong, Emily and Lily began searching the house. In their search, they stumbled upon an old, tattered book in the ancient library. They started reading it and learned about the old man who once owned this house. The old man was deeply involved in alchemy and sorcery. He was accused of consorting with the devil, and he was executed, leaving his soul filled with rage and despair, behind only he didn't leave. And Jason was his final victim. With horror, Emily realized that their house was indeed cursed, and the fate of their family was already sealed. She hugged Lily, trying to comfort her, but she couldn't stop her tears. Lily's tears quietly dissolved on Emily's shoulder when suddenly the room lit up. They turned around and saw Jason standing in the doorway. His face was pale, his eyes frightened, but he was alive. "Emily, Lily, we need to leave this place. Right now," he whispered, never taking his eyes off them. They didn't ask what happened. His face said enough to understand that he had seen something terrible. The family gathered their essentials and quietly left the house, as if afraid to awaken the malevolent spirit that haunted them. For months, it had been watching them, inflaming its rage and preparing for its dreadful conclusion. They didn't stop until they reached a hotel across town. There, in safety, Jason finally told them what had happened. He had been in the basement when he felt a coldness that chilled him to the bone. In the darkness before him appeared the old man with a contorted face, mocking his fear. Jason felt his strength leave his body, and then nothing. He woke up in the room where he found Emily and Lily, and they left the house. After that, the family never returned to that house. They sold it for a nominal price despite protests from the realtor. They knew the house was cursed and that only their flight had saved them from the horrible fate that awaited them if they had stayed. But even after moving, Jason, Emily, and Lily never forgot that terrible experience. Sometimes in the quiet nights, Jason would hear in his dreams the whispers of the cursed old man, reminding him that they were just one of many who tried to forget about the curse of the house on Coldstone Street.